The ratings are in for Saturday's Christmas Collision episode on TNT, as well as the ratings for Christmas Eve's WWE NXT on the CW. An update on Kenny Omega's return to AEW television. CM Punk comes to the aid of Damian Priest in a towel and a shower cap inside Madison Square Garden. We got details on Monday Night Raw returning to Madison Square Garden once they're on Netflix. Details also on Danhausen's return to AEW/Ring of Honor. John Cena vs. Logan Paul will not be happening at WrestleMania. We've got the ratings for Monday's edition of Raw. Randy Orton's status for the Netflix debut of Raw has also been revealed. Plus, we've got an injury update on Carl Anderson. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's begin with the ratings for the Christmas Collision episode, and here's some positive news for All Elite Wrestling. Now, AEW Collision has failed to draw over 500,000 viewers throughout the latter half of 2024, with the May 18 episode being the last time they were able to eclipse that benchmark. In addition, Collision has gone through its worst stretch of ratings as of late, with the last 3 weeks pulling in less than 300,000 viewers each. AEW also posted an all-time low number for their Saturday program on November 30th, drawing only 144,000 viewers. That being said, AEW's Christmas edition of Collision ended the lengthy streak of poor ratings, posting their highest number for the show since July 29, 2023. According to WrestleNomics, Collision averaged 635,000 viewers and a 0.20 in the 18 to 49 demographic. When comparing both categories to the previous week, total viewership increased by a whopping 158%, with the 18 to 49 demo impressively being up 122%. Now, crucially, Collision had a lead-in from the Clemson versus Texas College football playoff game, which was one of the strongest lead-ins throughout the show's history, averaging 8.6 million viewers. Despite the massive bump in the ratings this week, Collision's overall viewership compared to December 2023 is down by 17%, with the 18 to 49 demo also decreasing by 20%. Now, Collision still managed to rank number 3 in primetime on cable on Saturday, despite going head-to-head with the Ohio State versus Tennessee College football playoff game, which was simulcast across ABC, ESPN, and ESPN2. Delivering a total of 14.6 million viewers. Now, it remains to be seen if Collision will be able to capitalize on this past Saturday's strong rating, or if they will revert into the numbers below 300,000 heading into 2025. Now, it's not just AEW Collision that's seen a ratings rise. It can be said also when it comes to NXT. The pre-taped Christmas Eve episode of WWE NXT averaged 723,000 viewers on the CW network, which is up 2.1% from last week. It's the best audience total for the show since October 8th and is NXT's third highest since moving to the CW. NXT drew a 0.14 rating in the 18 to 49 demo, down 12.5% from last week. It's the lowest rating the show has done in that category since December 3rd and ties the second lowest rating since NXT moved to the CW at the beginning of October. As compared to the same week in 2023 when the show still aired on USA Network, NXT's overall viewership was up 7.9%, but the 18 to 49 rating was down 26.3%. Next Tuesday, NXT is airing on New Year's Eve with an episode that also has been taped in advance. Now, a bit of an update here when it comes to Kenny Omega and his AEW future. Kenny Omega is heading back to All Elite Wrestling sooner rather than later. Last month, Fightful Select interviewed Kenny Omega and shortly after reported that he would be headed back to AEW soon. In addition, Fightful were told that Omega was planned for an AEW return before he left for Japan for his Wrestle Dynasty show against Gabe Kidd. Fightful have been told that Omega is supposed to leave for Japan either on January 1st or 2nd and will be around for Wrestle Kingdom, even though he's not publicly booked for the show. However, his AEW return has been teased on television. Fightful Select reported last week that his return was expected by the World's End pay-per-view, and this week Fightful have heard that the active plan is for Kenny Omega to be at the show, though Fightful say they're not sure in what capacity. Omega has not been regularly on the road with AEW since 2024, while sidelined with diverticulitis. Now, it was the traditional WWE live event at Madison Square Garden yesterday, and CM Punk saved the day after the main event on the WWE Live Holiday Tour at Madison Square Garden last night. The December 26th WWE House Show took place in the iconic Madison Square Garden in New York and featured 3 championship matches. The Intercontinental Championship saw Bron Breakker face Sami Zayn in a 2 out of 3 falls match. The WWE Women's World Championship was also on the line, with Liv Morgan defending against Io Sky. Meanwhile, the main event saw Gunther defend the WWE World Heavyweight Championship against Damian Priest inside a steel cage. With Gunther victorious in the main event against Priest, things would take a turn when the champion, Ludwig Kaiser and Dominic Mysterio, decided to carry out a post-match attack. The numbers may have been against Priest, but salvation came in the form of CM Punk, who, it seems, was halfway through a shower. As can be seen on the screen right now, Punk arrived in just a towel and a shower cap to save the day. Punk would unleash on Kaiser and Mysterio, with Priest finally taking out both men with a double clothesline of his own. Prior to this, CM Punk had defeated Ludwig Kaiser in a singles match. This was his first in-ring bout following teaming with the OG Bloodline in the War Games match at Survivor Series last month. Now, when it comes to Madison Square Garden and WWE, they will be returning when it comes to Monday Night Raw on Netflix. WWE has announced that Raw will return to Madison Square Garden next year for the first time since July 2022. Although WWE makes stops at Madison Square Garden in New York on a regular basis, the last time Raw was there was for the July 25th, 2022 episode. More recently, the WWE Live Holiday Tour stopped off at Madison Square Garden on December 26. With SmackDown, it also emanated from Madison Square Garden on June 26, 2024, with the Money in the Bank Triple Threat qualifying matches being a prominent part of the card. The official MSG Twitter account has now announced that on March 10, 2025, Raw returns to the venue. The episode of Raw forms part of the Road to WrestleMania tour ahead of the April 19 and 20 premium live event. Now, going back to AEW, and a bit of an update when it comes to Danhausen and his return to the fold, it seems, when it comes to AEW and Ring of Honor. After almost a year off television, AEW's Danhausen made his on-screen return at the Ring of Honor Final Battle pay-per-view during Mansoor's match with Atlantis Jr. With Atlantis Jr. victorious in the December 20 match, Danhausen would then enter the ring and put a curse on Mason Madden, Mansoor's MXM Collection partner. Despite not appearing on AEW screens since the AEW TNT Championship Right to Challenge Anytime Anywhere Battle Royal at World's End in December 2023, Shop AEW has released new merch for the absent star earlier this month. Ahead of his Ring of Honor return, it was reported there had been little contact between Danhausen and AEW over recent months. Details have now emerged of how Danhausen's return came together, courtesy of a Fightful Select report. According to Sean Ross Sapp, Danhausen's return was a short-notice arrangement stating, quote, "Yeah, they called him the day before the show and they told him to come do the show. He said, okay, it's my job, I'll come do the show. That's pretty much it. He's been very transparent the whole time. It's not him refusing to work or anything. It was a situation definitely where he told them he had some family stuff, wouldn't be able to work as many Saturdays, and then he started to work Saturday indie dates, and AEW looked at it and said, well, what the hell's going on here? He would probably be the first to tell you, yeah, that probably could have been communicated better, but he's also a guy that's like, they can just tell me to come to work, it's my job, and they did that." According to Sapp, a number of people backstage were happy to see Danhausen return at ROH Final Battle. It was also noted they were happy with the fan reaction to his appearance, with hopes it would lead to more from Danhausen in AEW and Ring of Honor. As previously reported, Danhausen is under AEW contract with a deal that runs until the summer of 2025. Now, we are getting close to John Cena's return to WWE television for his retirement year in 2025. Since Cena announced he will be retiring from professional wrestling at the end of next year and revealed he will be competing at WrestleMania 41, his speculated opponent for the event continues to be a looming question. WWE superstars such as World Heavyweight Champion Gunther have been a rumored option due to Cena possibly wanting his 17th world title, while CM Punk has also remained a choice if WWE wanted to renew Cena's epic rivalry with the best in the world. However, according to WrestleVotes, former United States champion Logan Paul has recently been discussed for Cena's WrestleMania opponent, which has apparently been met with dissatisfaction from within WWE's creative team. Quote, "Sources indicate recent rumors of Logan Paul versus John Cena at WrestleMania have, at the very least, been discussed. However, the idea has been met with resounding disapproval from several within creative. The general feeling is that this shouldn't be Cena's final WrestleMania match, end quote. Cena revealed earlier this year that he would be appearing at the 2025 Royal Rumble, and as of last November, WWE announced that the 16-time world champion will also be featured at next year's Elimination Chamber. Cena is also expected to be scheduled for between 35 to 40 dates throughout his retirement tour, with his first taking place on January 6th when Raw debuts on Netflix. Now, speaking of Raw, we've got the ratings for this past Monday's episode on USA Network. The December 16 Raw posted an impressive rating after only pulling in 1.3 million viewers the week prior, drawing 1.522 million viewers for WWE's first show after Saturday night's main event. However, the same could not be said for this past Monday's Raw, as viewership declined for the Red brand on the day before Christmas Eve. According to WrestleNomics, Raw averaged 1.453 million viewers and a 0.42 in the 18 to 49 demographic. When comparing both categories to the week prior, total viewership was down 5%, while the 18 to 49 demo decreased by 12%. Despite the decline in the ratings this week, Raw's average viewership compared to December 2023 is up by 16%, while the 18 to 49 demo is also increasing by 17%. Raw ranked number 3 on cable for the evening, trailing behind the Monday Night Football game between the New Orleans Saints and Green Bay Packers, as well as the pre-show for the broadcast. The Saints and Packers game aired on ABC and ESPN, combining for a total of 14.498 million viewers and a 3.23 in the 18 to 49 demo. This upcoming Monday will mark the final Raw before WWE's flagship show heads to Netflix on January 6th, making it interesting to see what WWE will advertise for the program, as well as how Raw will perform in the ratings for its last broadcast, for now anyway, on cable television. Now, speaking of that move to Netflix, many have wondered, will Randy Orton be on schedule for the show? Now, the debut of Raw on Netflix is fast approaching, but it seems like one more iconic WWE superstar won't be making an appearance on the show. Randy Orton was taken out with a pile driver by Kevin Owens on an episode of SmackDown in November, following the brawl that prevented their crown jewel match taking place. According to Sportskeeda's Dr. Chris Featherstone on X, Orton is not currently scheduled to be a part of the debut episode of Raw on Netflix. Quote, I've had a bunch of people inquire about the status of Randy Orton regarding January 6th, Featherstone wrote. I've been informed that he is currently not scheduled to be a part of the debut episode of Raw on Netflix. Orton and Owens were set to face off in Saudi Arabia as their feud, caused by Owens believing Orton was taking the side of Owens' nemesis, WWE Champion Cody Rhodes, continued. Instead of ringing the bell on their grudge match, the opponents brawled around the arena before Owens hit an elbow drop off the guardrail in the crowd to Orton. The following SmackDown, Owens hit the banned move of a pile driver, and Orton was taken out on a stretcher. And finally, a bit of an update here when it comes to Carl Anderson and his injury status. Carl Anderson recently revealed that he'd had surgery that will make him miss WrestleMania 41. He previously projected his recovery time to take around 6 months, though it might be a little longer based on information he shared on his Talk and Shop podcast with Luke Gallows. Quote, I'm out indefinitely, Anderson revealed. I'd say at least 6 or 7 more months with a torn rotator cuff and torn labrum. Anderson and Gallows also revealed that this is a brand new injury. At first, they thought it might have been something that had been aggravated, a pre-existing one, but they can be rest assured knowing that he's making some progress despite the long spell he's set to have on the sidelines. Gallows joked about being surprised that his partner's arm isn't flapping like a doll, but it turns out he's capable of performing with tasks again. Anderson's last in-ring appearance was a dark match before the October 1st edition of NXT, which saw him team with Gallows in a losing effort against Hank and Tank. His last televised match happened on September 24th edition of the show in another losing effort against the same opponents. Anderson and Gallows are 2-time Raw Tag Team Champions, but they've yet to win any gold since returning to the company in 2022. Outside of WWE, they found title-winning success in TNA, New Japan Pro Wrestling, NWA, and various independent promotions. So there you go, guys, the latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash the like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.